Hello, everyone, to another amazing interview with the Global Consciousness Summit coming up on June 18th. We are gearing up for an amazing event which will take place online, so accessible to all of you, where we bring cutting edge topics in consciousness, in personal development, and human potential. There's just so much wealth of knowledge and expertise that is being brought to you by our expert panelists and speakers. And we are delighted to be introducing to you somebody very special to both Joy and our dear friend Angela. So I will let Joy give you a little bit more background on Angela and introduce her. So, Joy, take it away.
Wonderful. Well, we are in for a treat. Angela is an incredible person who deals with the emotional natures of ourselves, our beings, as well as working with children. She is the author of the Bella Santini Chronicles. She writes fairy tales, and her story is fascinating. She has come from personal tragedy to be able to work with the powers of transformation. So, Angela, take it away. We want to hear all about you and who you are and what your story and your mission is here.
Thank you both. I am so grateful to both of you for inviting me to be on this summit. It's really going to be unleashed, and I'm so excited about that. So, gosh, my history. I had an alcoholic father who was abusive, and I learned to fear men because men raged and behaved badly. I grew up and I married a man who was emotionally injured in his childhood, and he actually rage was something that he grew up with, and it was his comfort zone. So it was his go-to emotion. As you can imagine, I was very judgmental of anyone who was in rage because it had been something that injured me as a child. And so this was a toxic relationship because he would get mad, he would scream at me, I would judge him, and then it would just spiral downward. A lot of people would have labeled him and called him certain names. And someone asked about how to pronounce my last name. It's Legh, Lee. So anyway, I ended up staying in this relationship for a long time because I believed that love can cure anything. And I know that's true. And at the same time, I also know that sometimes when you are the recipient of rage and blame, it's hard to not become a victim. I spent 50 some years of my life as a victim. And it wasn't until after a wildfire destroyed our home and I made the decision to leave this 32-year abusive marriage. At that point, I learned about the victim triangle. And what the victim triangle is an energetic triangle of someone does something that triggers you, you become triggered, you are their victim. And then you respond. Now they're your victim. And maybe 2 days later, you think of a way you could have done it better. So you go to them and you say, we could have done this differently. Now you're rescuing. You're still in victim energy. when you're in any part of that energetic triangle. So what I learned about how to get out of victim energy was through research on forgiveness. And when I was researching forgiveness, I came across a blog, and it talked about soul contracts. And this is where my whole soul just lit up and said, this is what you need to know.
Wow,
So,
what a powerful story, Angela. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable with us and for sharing it with our audience, because who hasn't had a disempowering experience in their lives? But tell us, it seems like you have overcome this mindset of victimhood, which, by the way, who hasn't felt victimized in one way or another in their lives? So, what would you recommend for people who might be in this situation right now?
well, the way to get out of victim is to take responsibility. So as soon as you take responsibility for your own reactiveness to the situation, you're no longer the victim, because now you can affect change, because you can, through internal work, shift your reactiveness and ease that. So this understanding came to me through that blog post that I had mentioned about soul contracts. And what I read is that the people in our lives are really mirrors for us. And as a mirror, they're serving to show us our own internal wounds. So when we are reactive to another person's behavior, frequently it's because it mirrors something that happened to us as a child, and we weren't able to process those emotions. So they became stored, and that energy rises up as soon as we notice a similar behavior. So
Well,
those,
you're mentioning something super interesting. I'm actually going to ask Joy to comment on that. Soul contracts. That's not a word that you hear often over coffee and a cake. So, Joy, what are soul contracts to you?
Soul contracts to me might be where we have made a contract on another level, right? We're assuming besides this earthly existence here, if we're going to get like, unleashed and untapped here, right? And uncensored. And that we have a contract, kind of like you would have a contract with your business, right? We have a contract to complete or to learn something, that we have a contract to learn from another person and or to complete something that was left unfinished. However, I do have a question for you, Angela.
yeah,
You're talking about those wounds and the victimhood and that the victim triangle. Now, I know that your passion and part of your mission is to really help children, particularly heal and to come into their sense of empowerment. How are you doing that with your work right now, especially in light of this planet has so many things happening, as we all know here, the three of us and those watching, where children particularly are being affected? What is your message for the children of the world, and also for parents and teachers and counselors? What's your expertise on that?
so there are two things that children that would benefit so deeply from, and that is learning self-love. This isn't self-esteem. It's quashing self-criticism. It's valuing yourself. It's valuing your gifts and trusting your own soul.
Mm.
That is a key component. And then the other is to learn how to be with your emotions. And I really mean be. So to be present with your emotions, because so many of the world's ills are started from trying to escape a feeling.
Be with your emotions. If you are just joining us, we are here with Angela Legh of Bella Santini Chronicles and talking about the love and emotions. You have something amazing that you'll be gifting our VIP pass holders with that has love in the title. So tell us, Angela, what is it that they're getting?
So they get access to my Live, Love, Laugh online course. It is a 7-week course where you go through learning how to be with your emotions, how to shift perspectives, accessing joy and curiosity and playfulness, and adding those to the mundane world of our everyday life.
Well, talking about emotions, my mom, who I adore and love, she's like a sage, an oracle, all built into one. So, hello, mom. I'm sure she's watching. She mentioned something that's interesting, that in the current state of consciousness, people are so overstressed and overworked that they actually do not want to be in touch with their emotions. They almost live like zombies, trying to detach from even processing how they feel about certain aspects of their lives or experiences. What would you suggest to these people? How would they have courage to sit down, perhaps become still for a moment, and allow themselves to feel those emotions, maybe of apathy, anger, resignation, fear, and all the other vibrations that are inundating our daily life?
That is such a great question. The reality is, feelings biochemically last about 120 seconds.
120 seconds?
I
That's
mean,
it?
that yeah, it's like 90 seconds to 120 seconds. So 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Um,
I don't know. My anger sometimes lasts much longer. I don't
ah,
know about
but,
joy.
but that's when your mind becomes involved. So it's when you are just processing the feeling without letting your mind get entangled in the idea of what happened, then it will just flow and be gone. When your mind gets involved, then the feeling gets stuck because your mind starts thinking, oh, this isn't fair. I don't want to feel this, or, put in anything that your mind thinks. And that prolongs the emotion.
Very
So,
cool. Very cool. So it's
yeah.
a biochemical experience, really. What I'm hearing you say is that the emotions initially for those 120 seconds is creating a biochemical experience flooding through the body. However, our mental monkey mind gets in the way, and we make up stuff around whatever's going on. And we keep feeding it, and that creates that wonderful cycle. Well, gosh, I could just talk with you and listen to you for hours, Angela. And I know our speakers that you're going to be coming together with at the summit are going to just enhance what your message of love, of transformation, of healing, especially when you do come to the summit and speak. I want to hear more about how that translates into this Bella Santini Chronicles. We're on the edge of our seats wondering what that is all about. And I hope that I know that we will be finding out more, because what an angel you truly are here to have that love, that energy. I just feel it. Don't you, Dagmar?
Yes, it's like milk and honey.
Mm.
You guys are the
Yes.
best.
It really is. It's a balm, a healing balm for our soul and our spirit. And um, it's just so needed right now. Your gifts and your passion and your expertise. And what an incredible gift this your 7 week course, right? I can't wait to get that and receive that when I get my VIP pass. With so
And that reminds us, to those of you who are watching and you haven't purchased your ticket yet, please join us on June 18th. This is going to be quite a treat of an event. So, June 18th, Saturday from 8 a.m. Pacific to 2 Pacific, or from 10 a.m. Central to 4 p.m. Central. And for those of you who purchase VIP Pass, you'll have an opportunity to engage in more conversations with Angela during our VIP after party. So, the link to this event will be in the chat. We thank you for tuning in, and keep watch, because we are bringing to you more experts, more supporters of this event, and we look forward to connecting with you during the actual event. So stay tuned, everyone. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Joy. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
thank you. Yay.